drive over to yard number 2, which happens to be located at my 91-year-old mother's house, who we're blessed enough to still have with us. Birthday was yesterday. I got a little bit of weed eating to do around the hives, just maintenance as far as the yard is concerned. Entrance reducers to put on there, winter stores check, some DFM to go on them, pull some mite strips that are due to come out, and basically just put them down for winter. 2-mile trip from my other yard. It's while we're talking about bee yards, if you intend to have several colonies of bees, it's always a good idea to have more than one yard, and that also goes in hand with having your yards registered with the state. Get in touch with your apiary inspector. Do your due diligence according to the regulations of the state you're in, your guidelines. Follow the laws that are put in place for the beekeepers. Everything is a benefit to the beekeeper as far as apiary inspectors, your state plant boards. These are great people. They care as much about the honeybee as you do. Utilize them as an ally because they are. We started working bees this morning at 10:15. The temp was in the middle 50s. It is now 10:53. Temp is at 64. Almost no wind. Not concerned at all about getting into these hives. Although it is November, you know, we're not in the northern states. We don't have snow on the ground. We're not going to worry about chilled brood at all. So great day. It's a sunshiny day, great warm day to get a lot of this last minute maintenance done pre-winter. And you know, our winter months typically December, January, and February. And just get what you have to do for these bees done free then, because you don't want to risk injuring a queen that late in the game, you know, chilling brood and killing a few hundred bees that they may need for that winter cluster. Through the goldenrod flow. White wax on the outer cover, and they have built this dude. Probably, I'm going to take a look, but all of this real light colored white wax was not there. I had this inner cover flipped over from the flush side. What I may have could be a mess. This could be all combed out in here. I'm going to peek into it. If it is, I'm just going to take the top box off at one time so I'm not dealing with an entire mess of that to clean up, because we may have to clean up between supers anyway. And they have built some up here, but we're going to open it up and look at it. Y'all see, this is what you get during a good fall flow. Okay. Oh yeah, bees look good. They put up a lot of honey. The towel has worked. I don't want to leave a towel in here with them over winter, because it gets really, really funky. And that just goes back to trying to keep your bees healthy. This has got fall goldenrod honey in it that's going to sugar. The higher the glucose, the quicker honey granulates. Now we're not removing anything right now that puts them at any kind of a risk for starvation. I can smell the goldenrod in it. When I put this towel in, this area between frames was loaded with these beetles. Between the towels and the bees, it looks like it's pretty well taken care of. And we're getting late enough in the season now. I personally don't think that the hive beetles try to reproduce during the winter. That's my opinion. Nothing to back that up, other than I've never seen a slimed hive over winter, especially when they have the presence of bees that these do. I've got no reason to suspect that these bees are queenless. They're not loud. They're continuing to do their deal with me here. If they did not have a queen, typically, not always, typically they would be loud. They would roar. They would make enough noise that you would think, oh no, you know, they've gone into a defense. That's not the case. You can tell where I've ruptured those cells. If you look right here, this is really interesting. If you look here at what would be fresh honey, and it is, but if you'll notice, it's crystallized. It's already turned to sugar. That's how high the glucose was in all their fall plants, mainly that goldenrod. They're going to eat that just fine. They're going to do fine over winter. I had never seen that in all my years of keeping bees, where they put up so much of this in such a short time, and it being as dry in moisture content as it was, it immediately started turning to sugar. This wax that you just saw me scrape off, don't throw it down in your bee yard. Don't leave it loose in the hive, because they're going to get everything out of it and take it out. And neither one of those are good. You don't want to encourage other bees, wasp, hornets, yellow jackets, to start coming in here and feeding with them. But these bees look great. I'm going to give them a shot of DFM. I'm going to put the lid back on this upper box, and we're going to go in and remove the mite strips. Couple reasons you take this off. When they cluster, in the event that a wax moth gets in underneath the bee space, and your outer cover. This comb that's left up here becomes a lay area for that moth and an incubator for her eggs. So now you've got moth larvae being raised above your colony, and it may be too cold for them to get up here to clean it out and resolve the issue, and by spring the moth may have a better hold on the box than the bees. So get that as clean as possible. Alright, we're going to cap this off, then I'm going to break that top box off. I hope we don't have a lot of comb to deal with between boxes. And there's a good possibility that we will have. Alright, Jason, can you see? This is that goldenrod honey. Gone to sugar in the cell. We just broke it apart. Now they don't understand what's going on. I don't blame them. But it is a warm, pretty day. But we have to get these mite treatments out. Now that I've cleared the bees, if you can notice, they have had these mite treatments in for 42 days. This is one of them. This is one of them. The brood area was concentrated here. I can still look between frames and see brood, cap brood. So we're going to remove the strips. That's one. Tell how clean that is. Those bees have stayed on that trying to move it out, keep it clean. What is this? But that's what removed their mite load. These bees absolutely look great. They're perfect on stores. They got honey down in the bottom. They got a full box of honey on top. And they're mite-free. So I'm not going to do any cleanup on this. I'm going to go ahead and smoke them down off of it, and they'll get back between the frames and clean that up. But I've got no reason in my mind to do anything more than what we just did. If you'll start that box on and walk it back, you'll smash fewer bees. White stuff, right like that, those crystals, that's exactly what that is. That is sugar crystals caused from the goldenrod turning so quickly to sugar that when they uncap it to eat it, there's a percentage of it that's soft enough to be taken. There's a percentage of it that actually goes to rock sugar.
Wow.
So they drop it and discard it, because in reality they've got plenty of it.
Yeah.
And they know that. So with that being said, if you run a solid bottom board, especially like these are, you're going to see a lot of things that are coming out of the hive due to the fact that there's not a screen opening underneath. When you put these on, this is one little tip that may or may not make any difference to anybody other than me. when you put your reducer into play, observe where the bees are at that time. They tend to look to me like this is the area that they're using coming in and out. Probably the majority of the bees are on this side. So these bees come, let's keep that in their forefront and just make that their opening as close to it as possible. Winter ready. And it looks like we put a whooping on the beetles, because this is now spotless. No beetles ran. That one tried to fly. I don't know how many beekeepers that I hear come in and they say, do the hive beetles fly? They fly. And that's the problem with hive beetles, and that's one of the reasons why they're prevalent. You get a swarm of bees in the spring, you get a swarm of bees in the fall, the hive's infested with beetles. Beetles just fly with them when they leave. They can't get rid of them. They do everything that the honeybee does, except gather the nectar, of course, and bring it in for you. Wouldn't that be something? We've got a full 9 frame. We got bees from wall to wall, front to back. Jason, can you get a... There's bees in every gap and against the wall. That's a good, strong, healthy colony. I'm going to give them a spoonful of DFM. Don't get hung up on where do I put this. Is it better to... Truth is, if you're putting it in an upper box, it's falling as far as the brood chamber. They're going to utilize it. They're going to have it clean by dark. They're super active today. It's a good time to be a bee. Boxes are full. Life is good. You know, going through these bees really impresses me for this time of year. I mean, these bees are sitting great in winter. I see very little feeding in my future. I like that part as a beekeeper. Here's some, this is what the nectar should look like this time of year. That's what the honey should look like when the cells are ruptured. But instead, you see how the longer it's been, that's just a chunk. See, the tip end of that is crystal. That's the white stuff on the deck. All right, girls, I'm in here for one reason, and this is it. I know, the little honey there you'd like to have.
What do those normally look like when you put them in?
They look like, when I tear the tabs apart, they're like this. I flip the turn tab, I put a piece of propolis or wax under it. I press that down on it, and that assures me that that treatment is there when I come back to get it. And I think what you ask, what do they look like? They look exactly like that. There's no difference. They do have a little bit of a residue, but that treatment that kills the mites is impregnated in this strip. It's activated by the heat from the bees.
Okay.
And the bees are on it every day, getting it. Why is this here? Can we move this? Can we get rid of it? So they're subjected to it. The mites are on the bee.
Mm-hmm.
Baby bees are born. Baby bees spend a week and a half in the hive. They're subjected to it. So if they came out of the cell with a mite, this kills the mite. So it cleans them up.